Five, four, three. Welcome everybody to Super Hype Train. It's episode 8. We are racing on through these games. So good. Tonight's episode is Racing Sims. So a bit different. We're going to cover 3 games tonight. Tonight I am Wilco still. Unfortunately, you've still got me as the host. Alongside me on my left here, your right. My left, his right, is Whip. How you going, mate?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, not as good as you. You bloody win everything, don't you? Just win, 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 win,
Apparently,
win, win, win.
apparently, I didn't even know until we were finishing up. Generously, had won something, and Joel was like, "Hang on, stay, please. No, I don't want to pay for shipping." So,
There you go.
yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
thanks to generosity, he is going to RTX next year. Is that
Yeah,
what?
so I got a VIP ticket to RTX Sydney, and I won the big ass collector's edition for Morrowind. So,
Excellent. That sounds pretty cool.
woo.
So well done.
Yeah.
Now we've got 2 rookies on the podcast tonight for our racing episode. We've got one chillaxin, Stephen Brown here. How you going, mate?
Good man, good. Yourself?
Oh, I couldn't be better. I've got the best beard in the business here, and that is true. All you other pretenders in the chat about your beards, this is the beard you want. And another fellow Sunshine Coast celebrity is McDad. He's not here, you can't see him, but that is his car, and that is how he looks in chat on the thing. How you going, McDad?
I'm very good, man. I've got pants on.
You're the only one. Had to ruin it, didn't you? So these boys are actually both from USM community. Plus, Stephen slash Chill, he streams on his own. Just moved down from Mackay. You're a good lad coming to the Sunshine Coast, aren't you? Lovely
Yeah,
place
man.
this is.
Freaking love it down here.
We've
Except for
got
the weather.
so good, so hot today, so hot.
Yeah.
Um, you have no video. Fair enough. I don't
Keep pants
understand that.
on.
Oh yeah, cool. So let's get into it because we have got a lot to talk about. I won't do too much other stuff. We know where these guys are from. If you jump in our Discord, you'll see them every day and chat to them every day. All of us actually. So let's go. So we're going to cover. There's 3 big racing sims coming out this year, and they're
Alrighty.
all within about 4 or 5 weeks of each other. So the first one is Forza Motorsport 7, which is developed by Turn 10 Studios, published by the fabulous Microsoft Studios, and the release date that they're looking at is 3rd of October. Unless you spend a bit of extra money, you can get it on the 29th of September. So, my wiki,
I have so many thoughts on these early access shit.
we
that
will
I'm
get
so
to that.
spoiling now with pre-orders.
We will 100% get to that in a sec. Um, Forza Motorsport 7 is an upcoming video racing game developed by Turn 10 Studios, blah, 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 blah. It's a racing game and it's simulated. So, we're also going to be covering tonight Gran Turismo Sport. Oh my god, it's actually releasing. Obviously, Gran Turismo Sport is the name. Polyphony Digital is the developer. Sony Interactive is the publisher. And it's coming out, if you're in North America, the 17th. If you're in Europe, which is Australia, technically, 18th. And if you're in Japan, you're on the 19th of October. And Gran Turismo Sport is the upcoming racing simulated, blah, 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 blah. Project Cars 2 is the 3rd game we are covering. This is going to be sexy game, but we'll get into that as well later. The name is Project Cars 2. Cars actually stands for something, and not the standard car, but I've ruined it because I have a community assisted racing simulator. So there you go. It's developed by Slightly Mad Studios in a change from the first one. It's actually been published by Bandai Namco Entertainment. They just distributed it last time. And it is releasing on the 22nd of September on all consoles and PC. Blah, 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 blah about its Wikipedia. Cool. So, let's get into the actual games itself. Let's talk about Gran Turismo for a little bit because that's the first one off the rank in our run sheet, people. Now, Whip, what are you
Yeah.
allowed to talk about with Gran Turismo? Because you've played a bit.
Yeah, I have played it, and I still have the beta installed on my PlayStation. And as far as I know, or as far as I remember, I'm not actually under any kind of NDA.
I've seen
So
videos on it online,
yeah,
so
no,
I assume
and,
it's...
and like I sent you, they haven't disabled screen caps or recording inside of the beta, so I'm just going to assume I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Okay, so
So
before we get into the actual game itself, let's run the history of Gran Turismo because this is one of the games that I've bought almost every version of, and it is one of two games that is the only games to be on every single Sony platform that is a Sony first studio game. And it has been around forever and sold stupid amounts of copies. So 1992 they started developing this series, and December 1997 is when they released the first one. Now I've got conflicting stories with a bit of actual stuff here on my thing where it actually says 98, but I'm pretty sure 97 is the one. Sold 76 million copies worldwide from the first one through to this current, before this current one. So it is the number one selling PlayStation franchise on the system. So, Chill, what's your history with Gran Turismo itself?
Gran Turismo, man. Remember being 7 years old, getting it for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I remember playing the crap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, man, I've always started with 300 ZX.
Yep.
Every other game I played, I've always played it with the 12. Always start with that car. So I hope they do bring it to this one. And I don't think there's a Gran Turismo played, and I have not beat.
Okay,
So
cool.
I've had a lot of fun.
That is good. You've played every single one, you reckon?
Yeah, that I can think of. I've still got copies of Gran Turismo 1 and 2 for PlayStation
Yep.
1. 3, 4, 5 for the PS... 3, 4 for the PS2, and 5 and 6 for the 3.
Now, yeah,
So-
6. We'll quickly touch on 6.
Yeah.
Gran Turismo 6, it did release on the PlayStation 3 after the PlayStation 4 release, and it is one of the biggest reasons why Gran Turismo is not as big as it used to be, because it just vanished and people never really heard about it, and it was a big miss. Not too bad a game, though, to be honest. Now, McDad, you're there. You not familiar with the Gran Turismo series? You heard of it?
Gran Turismo, I have, yeah.
Yeah, you've
I've
heard of
played
it? Okay.
up to 4, I think.
4, yep. 4 was good. 3 and 4 were... I started with 2 personally. I think I might have dabbled with 1. 2 was huge. 2 was about 4 discs, I remember, on PlayStation 1.
I think I still have part of my copy of either 1 or 3 sitting here. I know I don't have both discs, but I think I have at least 1.
Because 3 came out. 3 was PlayStation... What do we say? PlayStation
I hope that
2.
zips a CD case or not. Pants.
There it is. Look
So
at that.
I've
Gran
got
Turismo
that.
2.
I've got,
Disc 1 of
I
2.
believe this is the yes, I believe this is the story disc, not the multiplayer. No, it's the arcade mode disc. I take it back.
That's right. Yes, they had all...
They had to split it up.
Wow. That's crazy. Okay, so Gran Turismo 3, I think, was the pinnacle of the series. Gran Turismo 4, they went wide with heaps and heaps of different cars. Where Gran Turismo 3 was just straight. This is 100 and odd cars, and it just felt brilliant. Although playing it now, it probably doesn't, and it probably doesn't look brilliant. But back then, it was the pinnacle. The Sony, like, that's what they said. This is what our console looks like. This is the best it can possibly look. And yeah, where was B-Spec? Do you remember that one, Chill? It was the demo.
It was in
Oh.
between.
It was in
Yeah.
between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
4, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like an extended demo, really.
Yeah, that's all it
Yeah.
was. Because B-Spec was technically then brought into the game as their basically management simulator mode, from what I understand, in
Yeah.
4 or... I think, because they called 3 was A-Spec, and then B was actually...
Yeah, I think it
4
was from. Yeah, I think it was from 4 onwards because they had to split it into 3, 4 discs. They had the A spec, the B spec, and then arcade mode
Yeah, it was
was another
ridiculous.
disc as well.
So, Whip, you've obviously played a few of them. Gran Turismo's fond to your heart. Yeah.
Definitely, it's one of my favorite racing games. The one that I've got most time with.
Yeah.
My family always has had PlayStation consoles versus Microsoft One, so we've sort of always had a copy of Gran Turismo in the house because my family are a bunch of obsessed gearheads and love these games with a passion. So
Well, that's fair.
I didn't really get a choice.
I had a heap more. I think we've lost something in the translation of this run sheet, but I had a heap more stuff here. So, there's actually like 10 games in the series, I think, technically. I had that in my run sheet, but it's not there anymore because I did go to PlayStation Portable as well. The one thing I remember the most about Gran Turismo was we had the PlayStation 2 and we had Gran Turismo 3 in a house full of kids just out of school. So there's about 4 of us, and we ran that save file. We just all tried to 100% it pretty much back in the day, which was extremely hard. I actually was working at EB Games and I took that memory card in, and for people who weren't quite getting along, we had a save file on hand in the store that was 86% complete with shitloads of money and almost all the cars unlocked. So we did a service and let them copy it onto their memory card if they brought it in, because memory cards was all the go back in the day. But we actually sat there, we'd be watching The Simpsons and we'd have the skyline just kitted out to absolute rocket levels, and someone would just have their big toe on accelerate, and they just bounce around the corners of a oval track. And we did the enduros for the 4-hour enduros while watching marathon episodes of The Simpsons, and we just changed the channel back to because you wouldn't feel the vibrations anymore. You're like, oh, okay, we bumped ourselves into the pit lane. Sorry, hold on, we'll get ourselves back out and off we go again. Because it was no damage in this series. I don't understand that, but anyway.
It's not lasting damage anyway, not anymore.
No, well, 3 and 4 had 0 damage.
No, it wasn't 3 and 4. I think it was 6 that they've started to put in lasting damage anyway. Like it actually affects you as you're racing, but it's always just been tire wear and fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still remember like spending probably about 12 hours to do one race.
Yeah, it was
over like 3 or 4 days just to get it done.
I remember sitting there for hours on end just trying to get a gold trophy on a license or platinum or whatever. Like I'd do the same corner 100 times, but it was so much fun when you finally it was the Dark Souls of racing games. It was so good when you finally, after 2 hours of doing that one corner over and over again, you got the platinum trophy or whatever it was, and that's it. You never have to do that corner over again. But it made you a better driver. Like it really did in those games. It wasn't just here's a really hard simulated game. This is we're going to teach you how to get like the first one is always drive in a straight line and stop, and that's it. And then they slowly make it bigger and better as you go along. So, look, I've got a huge history with racing games. Even before Gran Turismo, I was Toka touring cars, V8 supercars, Formula Ones back in the day. I drove a Formula One simulator game with just keyboard, WASD, which was a nightmare. So don't ever do that. So
I played with a joystick.
Oh, I did a joystick once too, don't worry.
Pit Stop 2 was my first racing game.
Yes. I miss racing games because the problem with racing simulators is you have to do it. You have to spend, like we've been saying, you spend 100 hours in this game. I don't have 100 hours to spend in a racing game these days to get good at it. So
I don't have the gear anymore to play racing simulators.
I've got the gear. I've got a steering wheel over there.
So do I, but it doesn't work with PS4.
Yeah.
And it's iffy on modern PC games as well.
Yeah. No, they're like I've honestly probably the genre that I've spent most of my life playing would be racing games, unfortunately. That's what I grew up playing. The worst game I ever played though, Holden Racing Team.
Oh, fuck that.
Oh god.
It was HMV bloody videoed backgrounds and a car in the middle and it moved. It was so bad. But it was Bathurst. I just raced around Bathurst all the time.
Which is what we wanted.
Yeah, that's it. Like I've done
With
so many laps
Bathurst,
around
it's
Bathurst.
just the rest of it and stuff.
That's it. Gran Turismo Sport actually have Bathurst in their day one, so that's the first track I'll go
Yes.
to if I can.
And it's not DLC either.
Oh, it's so good. It's always been DLC and always been stuff like that. But
Yeah, it's always been either like a DLC or a pre-order code.
yep. So
And it's always been like Australia exclusive too.
but this is straight up from the start. Now, Chill. Do you know where Bathurst is now? Now we've talked.
Oh, thanks, man.
That's okay. That's an inside joke. Hey, Nikki, welcome to chat. My Bathurst 1000 shirt, and yeah, Chill thought I was. Yeah, we won't go any
What
further
is
with
the one
that.
up in town? I can't freaking remember now.
It's just a Townsville. I don't know what it is. It's
Yeah.
it's the Armor Townsville something or other. But anyway, let's move on to Forza Motorsport. Now, McDad has zero knowledge of Forza Motorsport. He doesn't even know it exists until tonight.
Oh, no, it exists. I just never played it.
No, you never played it. Chill, have you been a Forza fan in the past as well?
I have, man. From 5 and 6 upwards.
Yep.
And for like Horizon.
That's Xbox
Things like
One
that.
versions from memory.
Yeah, correct. I had
Yeah.
a 360, never actually got into car racing games on the 360 for some weird reason.
Yep.
Don't know
I
why.
did have the second last Forza game to come out on the 360.
For 3.
It was I think it was 5. 'Cause I think 6 was on the Xbox One.
Yeah, no, 5 was
7's the one coming out, so I think 5 was it.
Okay.
Was it?
But you've had
Yeah,
it. You've
it-
played it.
I've played a bit of it.
What do you think
Just-
of the old Forza compared to Gran Turismo? Because that's what we're talking about. We've got one more to compare them
Yeah,
with. But
no, I've always preferred Gran Turismo over Forza. Forza's always had, to me anyway, had that step of realism that went that little bit too far and
Mhm.
made the game far more difficult than it needed to be with a controller.
Yep.
And it relied so much more on understanding what you were doing to the cars in the tuning section.
Yeah.
Whereas in Gran Turismo you could very often get away with not having to touch that or using
Yeah.
some of the defaults.
Okay.
But in Forza, cars handle absolute shit, no matter what they are,
I've
without doing something to them.
well saying before the podcast, I've never got into Forza. Except for Forza Horizon 3 was my first Forza I really went in, and I loved that. But it's arcadey. I've always
Yeah.
found Forza as driving on rails. I've fallen asleep playing Forza racing around a track because I just was. It just felt like I just didn't have to think about it. Where Gran Turismo, I've really had to hit the points.
Yeah, the Forza tracks aren't as varied in scenery as Gran Turismo's are. Gran Turismo has
Yeah.
tons of inner city tracks and that kind of stuff, whereas Forza is a lot of mostly just actual standard racetracks.
Yep.
Outside, closed field, that kind of thing.
Okay, so the actual history of Forza, I've got a little bit of it here. It did release the first one in May 2005 on the original Xbox. They have released then one every second year till this one. So makes the 7 in the series of not missed one in 2 years, which is completely different to Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo we get when we get it, and it's always been the case, and it's just been so few and far between, like a Grand Theft Auto or something like that, where we've had to wait. And it's always, has there been a Gran Turismo where they've actually said it's coming out this day and it's actually released on that day? The first
I
one.
don't think so.
No.
I honestly don't.
A lot of them
No.
were two
It's always
2
been
years delayed.
Always delayed.
So
And it's always been delayed after it's made an appearance somewhere as well.
yep,
6 was delayed after I got a chance to play it at ED Expo.
yep,
And then it was delayed, and I was just why? Stop doing that.
yeah. So look, that's the big plus about the Forza series. It's all every year it's going to come out. Every second year it's going to come out. Sorry, in September. So it's a very big plus for the game, and they've gotten better. I 100% agree that they've gotten better over the years, and
Definitely.
a lot more simulated. So, yeah, look, that's the history of it. That's our history with the game. Let's move on to the final one of the 3, which is Project Cars. It's the freshest on the lot. It only released in 2015. As I said, community-assisted
that's right,
racing simulator. It was funded $5 million to make a game of this caliber, and that was purely from community developers and crowdfunding. So they actually had a thing on their website where you could actually purchase tools to play the game and help make the game. It wasn't actually Kickstarter. It was, do you want to help us at this level be able to code or create assets and or these type of things. So it was very much community based, building this game from the ground up. So
I think that given the way that Project Cars 1 was made, which is like that, the whole community assisted thing.
Yep.
I don't think Project Cars 2 really has the right to that name anymore, because it's no longer
it is
community
crowdfunded.
made at all.
Number 2.
It's still crowdfunded. I'll give you that.
Yep.
But it's not community assisted anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, we're throwing in money to pay for the game, but we're not actually assisting in it anymore. In its creation anyway.
I technically could have. I did back this thing back when it. This was the thing. It launched in May 2015. In June 2015, they started the Kickstarter or the crowdfunding for the second one.
Yeah.
5 weeks after launch. And I was a sucker who said, yeah, I'll do that. And I've had the development build since probably, I think 3 or 4 months after that. And look, it's there. You actually can do, and has been people helping with that kind of stuff. So it's just not as prevalent this time because they've done it before. They don't need to rely on that as advertising for this one. But yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. It's not as they've got their team, and yeah, so it's definitely I can see exactly where we lost all this information. But that's okay. We lost it before the show. It's all good. What Chill? Have you played much Project Cars? You tried to get into it, didn't you?
Yeah, I tried to get into it. I think I played like 2 hours tops.
Yep.
And then I just couldn't get into it. Like every other car racing game, I normally love to get straight into it.
Yep.
But Project Cars wasn't the game for me. So, but with all the details,
Yeah,
I
no, I agree with you there. I've got Project Cars as well, but the only time I've ever spent any real hours with it is in a very expensive rig that someone else has paid for and is using for advertising for some reason. Like, as an example, Project Cars is the game that they're using for a big competition. And if you're in Sydney, which is in the Henry Dean Plaza, essentially go there between like 11 and 3, spend some money in the plaza, get a race on the track, and your fastest lap time wins a car. But they've done like an expensive force feedback rig that moves and does that kind of crap. And for whatever fucking stupid reason, they leave it there. When they close up, they just like cover it with a tarp and I think chain it down, and it hasn't been stolen yet, which is my surprise.
That is.
But there's 2 of them.
Sorry?
Yeah, no, there's 2 of them there, and neither of them have been stolen yet, and I've been waiting for it. But that's the only time I've had experience with Project Cars, is in like proper rigs that make it tolerable.
They were
if you want to try playing.
Sort of built for like these. This was built as a pure simulation for that kind of stuff. But now, McDad, you're still here, aren't you? Yeah, cool.
Yes.
Sorry, we've been brushing over you a little bit. You're not on Skype, so we can't see your sexy face. So we can't. We keep on going past. But can you tell me, have you played Project Cars before?
Yes, I have.
Yes,
and
and
quite a bit of it.
what did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, the environmental effects are pretty good. Like in the go karts, it's pretty good. Just the lighting effects. I remember doing a go kart race, and I couldn't actually see the track because the sun was in the road. So just things like that, like little touches, that's and obviously Bathurst.
Oh
the
yes,
go kart's pretty fun too.
We would literally just set up a 2-hour session, me and the old armed boys, and we just race around Bathurst hours and hours on end, and not even race, just purely go for lap times. So
yeah,
it was so good. So Project Cars, I did go into it fairly heavily, and especially with the armed boys, we actually had a proper racing series. We tried to anyway, but they use peer-to-peer hosting.
Yeah,
and it was impossible. We had like 7 or 8 people turning up, and we had full practice sessions and practice sessions leading up a couple of days up to it, and then we had a qualifying, and then we had the proper race weekend set up. But people were just dropping out, and we just had randomly things just happened, and people got desynced, and that was the end of it. So
that was the big thing with Project Cars. Its multiplayer is just
it's terrible. So the other thing too, though, it's probably got the best damage simulation out of all of them, because I don't think Forza has a really, like, cars do crash and bang, but
Forza's got damage simulation. It's just
it's not hard to call.
Not as realistic, in my opinion.
Project Cars is that they've made a realistic racing simulator. Somehow they got licenses for like how much they had to develop the first one. They got some really good cars in there, and tracks. Like it really did well. And as McDad was saying, like go karts, you could start at that level, and the career mode you actually race through and right up to whatever. You could actually choose your path through and whether you want to go to touring cars or Formula One, and all that kind of stuff. And they had a variety. Like track racing was Gran Turismo's big thing. Forza track racing is their big thing. But like I remember in Gran Turismo 3 where you could get the Formula One cars, which weren't Formula One cars because of licensing issues, but You only got them right at the end, but this is something you go through Formula 3 with Project Cars and stuff like that. So it just felt a lot more simulated than the other two, being a PC first sort of console, maybe sort of thing. So
One of the big differences was, if I'm remembering correctly, anyway, from my sort of brief time with it, is that Project Cars is like its car roster is mostly like race cars, if you get what I mean. Like they're proper done up.
Yeah, it's not road cars or.
Whereas Gran Turismo and Forza have a big selection of both race cars
and road
and street cars.
Yep, no, that's fair. Definitely. It was definitely more racing than just driving, which Gran Turismo's always been the driving simulator, not the racing simulator. So which is fair. So look, that's sort of our history with the three games, and that's the history of the three games. You can sort of see where we've got our strengths and weaknesses for this crew, but let's go into the actual games themselves. Whip, do you want to start with Gran Turismo since you have actually played it?
All right, yes. Let's start with this list of key features we've got here. These points, because these are what everyone's interested. The big points.
Definitely.
Yeah. So it is a fucking massive game. Let's start with that. Even my demo, my little beta that has like 4 or 5 cars and a couple tracks, is like 40 gigs. All right. And the final game is rated at, I think it's over 60 gigs at the moment.
Yeah, we've got over 60 gigs, yeah.
For anyone like me that is still rocking a first generation PlayStation with a 500 gigabyte hard drive, this game fucking sucks.
Yep.
Because I had to delete like 3 other games. But it's fine. So at the moment, a total of over 150 cars have been recreated for the game. Which is great. All right, we love cars, but we don't love having an exceptional amount of cars because that makes it a pain in the ass to pick. So 150 is a good number. It is a solid number. That's a good mix of Formula 1, racing, and street cars to pick from. So it's over 17 locations with, 28 different map layouts. So reverse, left, right, that kind of crap. Anyway, so
Bathurst. Oh my god, Bathurst.
Yes, Bathurst. Thank God. And as it's for the PS4 Pro, like every other game on this list, it supports 4K and true 4K, not upscaled crap.
And that's why it's over 60 gigs.
Yeah, that's why. And because it is a PlayStation title, it is VR supported,
which is
so
huge.
It'll run off the PSVR. Yeah, which is great. Because
if
every game on this list but Forza is VR compatible. Because Xbox, get your shit together. But get a VR headset.
There is only one type of game I will buy a VR headset for, and it is racing, because you can. I was talking before the podcast. It's so hard to race a game and not be able to turn your head and look at the apex. You are
I think
looking.
It's the same for like I would buy one for both fantasy games, racing sims, and racing sims are built for it because
sims. You're sitting in a chair.
Same with flight sims. Like you strap one on for Elite Dangerous, and all of a sudden looking around is not such a big pain in the ass anymore.
Yeah. So
which is the big thing.
Side.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is the big thing: is they need to do this with all of these racing games that are coming out, even the more community-driven ones like Assetto Corsa.
Yes.
Have VR support.
They have to.
So Microsoft, get your shit together.
Well, we'll
finish whatever it is that you're fucking working on for the Xbox One X, and get the headset launched and have it support for 7. Because 7 is launching, which we can get into this later as well, but it's launching before the Xbox One X.
Yes.
Alright, back to PlayStation. So, as with seems every Gran Turismo release, the physics engine has been redone again to be even more realistic than last time, which is good because you can never be too realistic with the physics engine.
Yep.
I like things destroyed when I hit them against other things. It's half the fun of hitting other cars. All right, so according to the people at Gran Turismo, the licenses, so the test, the driving tests and whatnot, will hold the same value as a real-life license, which is a scary thought because I drive fucking terrible in these games, and I'm a much better actual driver than that. So please know.
No, you're not.
Excuse you. I'm perfectly fine.
Wait, do you even have a license, man?
Yes, I have a license.
That's hilarious. That
No.
explains everything.
That is.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, that's pretty much what I got right now.
Look, yeah.
Campaign comprises of 4 areas: driving school, mission challenge, circuit experience, and racing etiquette.
Well, I've seen a lot in the preview videos and stuff like that that there's actually like daily challenges as well.
Yes. So the daily challenges was the system that they've put in place.
To make you play
obviously
every day.
to give to give out daily challenges, but it's actually what they've used for the beta test. So we
Yep.
can't do races outside of the daily challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming that was to limit what we can actually do in the game.
The one I've
And
seen
what-
is like travel 26 miles or kilometers or whatever it is. Is that?
Yeah, so they won't be like. I don't think they'll be super hard or anything. But for us, the daily challenges have literally just been: here are the 3 races for the day. You need to sign, and the big thing is they're not open. You have to sign up for them.
Really?
So the challenges are there, but for some of them, you have to actually click sign up to roll in. Like the ones, for example, like the races that we had,
Yeah.
they were timed, and we needed to sign up, and we actually had to do a qualifying round
Yep.
to determine starting positions.
Yep.
And that to me was a bigger demo of what they could do with these daily challenges than just throwing out drive this far in a day.
Yep.
Because it means they could organize actual events,
Mhm.
which Gran Turismo is well known for. I mean, they've had the Nissan Challenge. They've had was it GT Driving School? Was another one they did.
Yep.
And I think there was a third one as well that I'm not remembering. And they're doing one for this as well,
Mm-hmm.
where they've taken races from the game and actually thrown them in real cars
Yeah. Well, there's
and had them racing for the PlayStation team.
the big story last year. An Aussie Post driver raced in one of the Gran Turismo multiplayer ones and actually got a
Yeah,
job
that was
racing a real race car.
Yeah, that was the Nissan Challenge, I believe that one
Yeah,
was.
I think it was actually,
they did a series of events in the car, and the best driver was thrown into the car for the actual race.
Yep.
Which is the big thing that Gran Turismo does with these that no other sort of racing company does with their games, because they've got the connections and licenses to back it up. They do these real world challenges. They do these challenges that lead to real world rewards. And I can't wait to see what they do with sport and the licenses they're building up for this, because they've got a lot more tracks with this, including a lot more overseas and specialized tracks. So not just obviously tracks and inner city, but more sort of open and unique tracks for like Gymkhana and stuff like that.
So it's I still don't understand why it's not called Gran Turismo 7, but they've definitely got an esportsy type feel to the actual Gran Turismo Sport, where the other ones are sort of, we'll let you have races and challenges, but although Project Cars 2 is probably going to have going ahead, but it's Gran Turismo's been big since 6 was, or 5 was the multiplayer.
6 was the one where it really slowed down, because that was the one between the 3 and the 4.
Yeah, that's right. Because
It was released
5,
on
this
the 3 when the 4 was launched.
this
Yes,
collects
5 was the one beforehand that did have a fairly active multiplayer, but that is the big problem with Gran Turismo games, is their multiplayer has
been terrible.
never been very good or active, just because of how limited it is.
Yeah,
Like, you don't have a lot of options when you're starting up a game. It's pick the track, pick the race conditions, and go. And that takes away a lot of the joy of being able to do what you guys do with Project Cars and just drive around the track and do nothing. Like, you can take away the time limits in the track, like in the lap number, but you're still restricted. You still get the warnings when you turn around, and it's annoying. If you gave me Gran Turismo with the openness of something like Assetto Corsa's multiplayer, I would be like happy as hell.
Yeah. So, Chill, you're pretty keen for Gran Turismo Sport.
Oh yeah.
And his stream of curses every time I mentioned I got the beta and he did.
Yeah.
Actually, quickly back to Whip. How did it feel in the beta? The actual feeling of driving the cars?
I felt like Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
It's really all you can say is it's just Gran Turismo has always been very solid with its controls. So it doesn't change a lot between game and game. It just sort of gets that little bit more dialed in.
Yep.
And it's the same with sport. You know, it feels exactly like the way I'd want it to feel.
Yep.
And that was with the controller, not with
It's actually
One of
the
the really fucking expensive ones that they've done for the PS4. Yeah.
I can't. I don't know what it is. I can't use a steering wheel. I've tried my hardest, but I don't know how to.
I mean, they take ages to configure to get set up properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of work to get one sort of in the right space for you. To make
Yeah.
you feel better.
I need I've attached it to this desk and I've tried my best to. I've got the full shift and I can do that kind of stuff, but it just never feels right. Never the right height. Never the right distance away. You need to actually build a cockpit, I reckon, to get the best out of a steering wheel. But chill. So, Gran Turismo Sport, you've already purchased or you're going to purchase anyway.
I've already purchased that.
Yeah.
Already? Oh, I might.
What's the thing
Looking
that
at it back.
you're looking forward to most with Gran Turismo Sport?
Probably with the actual simulation. Like, I love the licensing functionality of it.
Yep.
To push yourself that little bit extra every tiny license you do, try to better yourself.
Yep.
Probably one of the most funnest things I've ever found in my Gran Turismo game. And the Pikes Peak car. That Pikes Peak car was
Yep.
the funnest car I've had to drive. Yeah, just like I'm getting a proper steering wheel set up. I've already got designs to make my own cockpit, to
Yep.
get it all set up and get everything working.
Which
Very tempting.
which steering wheel are you grabbing?
Probably the G29, the new Logitech one.
Yeah.
Fuck, that thing is pricey.
Yeah, I've got the G27, but I'm
That is the worst one they've easily done, money-wise anyway, because they did the steering wheel, but then you have to pay and buy the shifter separately.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the shifter doesn't come with the
because they're all
wheel.
trying to go to the flappy paddle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Stupid.
well over $600 to get the whole wheel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got
Um,
the G25, I think, in all games. It's got the clutch pedal and it's got the
Yeah, no,
six
that's
shifts.
a nice one.
Mm.
Yeah, I kind
That's
of
a nice
broke
one.
Oh, you
Ugh.
silly man.
I
Uh,
spotted one for
no.
like $50 the other day and was annoyed I couldn't jump on it.
Yeah, no, they're good. Like, I had just the actual driving simulation of the game. I can sink hours upon hours. Still love every bit of it.
If I had hours and hours, I would too. Now, McDad, you're a PlayStation fanboy. You're getting Gran Turismo Sport.
Yes, definitely getting it. Yep.
Okay.
I haven't played, since PlayStation 2, so
Ooh.
due to get back in and actually do some multiplayer.
What is the
Good
thing
luck.
that's getting? Yeah. What are you getting most excited about for it though? What part of the game?
Oh, yeah, probably the multiplayer, and just to get back in. I haven't played
I
it.
was going to
so,
say, you're excited
see
for
what it's
the
like.
wrong reasons if multiplayer is up there for you. Because that is not what you get for a Gran Turismo game, or even a Forza game.
No.
Horizon, yes, but not normal Forza.
No, it's look. Racing with other people's fun. It's just
Oh no, it's fun. It's just a dead experience. It's never
yeah.
anyone online.
If you do it with people, like that's what you got to do. You got to organise with
Yeah,
people
so
you
play
know.
with would-
Yeah, that's it. We've spent way too long on Gran Turismo, to be honest. Let's move on to
Good thing,
Forza. Oh, it was. It is. It always is.
Yeah.
Now, Forza's probably the least popular out of the three for us. So I'll quickly run
Yeah.
through some key features of Forza 7. There's more than 700 cars in this thing, which seems like overkill to me.
Oh, it totally is, but this is Microsoft. This is what they do.
Yeah.
They've got the money to throw money at what am I doing?
The big
To
thing
throw
is
cash at dealers and be like, give us your car brands, please.
yeah, the biggest thing is Porsche is now in the game. It's not going to be DLC that they're going to pay for,
Yeah.
which is cool. Forza 7 will support every fan requested wheel on the market, which is cool.
This is an interesting thing that I wanted to touch on when we got to it, because the Xbox One has a very notable and very well understood lack of backwards compatibility support for controllers and peripherals,
It'll be
and
PC,
a lack
man.
of any and all implementations. No, that's fine for PC, but the problem is
It won't,
this is launching on Xbox One X,
but it
and
won't
is
carry
being
for
made sort of. Yeah, no, but they haven't said that, and that's
No, I
the
know.
big thing. People are going to expect that, and my problem with that is I don't understand how they're going to do it when they literally they're not able to. It was the same thing when Tekken 7 launched, right? It's got backwards compatibility for PS3 fight sticks on the 4, but they could not do that for Xbox One, and had to put a massive statement out. Goes, it's not that we didn't want to do this for you; it's that we physically were unable to, and Microsoft had nothing to to offer to help them to add in support for older generation hardware. And I don't understand how the fuck they're gonna do this.
I don't know either. I can't
Yeah, I
100%
reckon
guarantee you it'll be our Microsoft version of this works with all on PC, and Xbox you have to
Yeah.
use the Xbox like certified ones. It'll
There's
100%
like
be.
2 fucking steering wheels for the Xbox.
Doesn't matter.
Same with the
That's-
PS4 actually, but there's like 2.
Unless they're going to load every single driver, because it is Windows based, so they could load every driver in there.
Not with
but can't-
Windows, it's fine. They don't even have to do anything. For the
Yeah.
most part,
But-
it's just plug and play. Like they can pick specific brands and popular ones to throw like presets in for.
Yeah.
But it's the same with anything else. Just plug in the fucking steering wheel, set up the controls, and away you go. But on Xbox One S, this is a very big thing that you're gonna have to try and do.
We'll see. So 30 different racing environments with over 200. What have you written here? Ribbons.
I have no idea. It was on the thing that I found.
Okay. It's the Forza's largest track list ever. This is a great podcast. Quality from the start to the finish.
Quality.
This is what you get when you bring rookies onto the show. I don't know. No two races are the same, with race conditions changing every time you return to the track. So that's temperature,
That's still
that's
not
humidity.
gonna add enough variety to these boring fucking tracks. For my liking.
But this
See,
is what
that's like a-
Chill's the most excited about this point, I can tell you right now.
Yeah, that's where it excites me the most. It could either make the game great, or it could just really fuck it in the arm.
Or it's just like add a slight bit of variety to very boring tracks
Yeah,
anyway.
it'll
Well,
be a little bit
this
more
way, you
slippery. And
You could do one track at dusk, where the track is much cooler, where you can
Mhm.
pick up more time and more speed for your track time. Or you can get it at midday, where it's pissing down rain, and then you're just sliding from asshole to breakfast, trying to get your
Yeah.
car to go straight down the track. Because
Yeah.
if anyone's like me, you turn all your helping support off simulate because they ruin the game.
It's
Basically.
if you've got a steering wheel, it ruins the game. If you're
Well-
running with a controller, it makes it fucking playable.
No, I do
No.
it with both. I play with controller
Yeah.
and steering wheel. If I have any helping supports on it, it pisses me off because I want to brake at that last second. If I can't brake at that last second,
Oh no, I
it's
turn like ABS and auto braking off, but I
And
can't turn
steering
off
assist.
any of the steering assist with a controller
No.
because it's fucking unplayable. You don't have that kind
Yeah.
of range of motion.
You do.
You've got
You
left,
do.
you've got full tilt left or full tilt right.
you gotta
That's about it.
ease the trigger.
Yeah.
Ease.
I actually find
Yeah.
I race way better with a controller on any game than I do with the
Oh, don't
steering.
get me wrong. I race way better with a controller too, but it's
And it's one of the other
driving with the
reasons
steering wheel.
I want to get the Scuff, because the Scuff's got the longer triggers, so you can actually be a lot more
Yes.
accurate with your accelerating
Fucking-
as well.
Put a bit of clay on the end, a
No,
little bit of bloody air drying clay,
no.
and you've got your extended triggers without the $300 price tag.
No,
of a
everything
big
else that goes
expensive
with it.
controller.
It's all good.
Only other thing I really like about Forza is the drifting. That is one thing they have down pat.
Okay.
Between being able to tandem drift 4 different people and be able to hold it, best feeling you can ever get.
Yeah, I
You can
can't
do that in Gran Turismo pretty well as well.
Oh, I haven't tried the new Gran Turismo. Thank you very much.
No, you can do it in 6 and 5 as well.
Well,
I
here we
actually
go.
like-
Both had
Five,
Forza's like in-depth tuning to it, where you could get it going pretty well if you tried.
Don't
Yeah, well,
get
Forza just
cranky with
happens
each
to
other,
have it.
boys. Just settle down.
Quiet old man Wilkins.
Now, the team is expecting. Obviously, this is going to be first time on PC, which is big news for Forza. They had that silly
it's not.
Apex version of
Yeah.
the free-to-play thing, which wasn't the
And
true.
Horizon's on
Yeah.
PC.
Yeah, Horizon's not part of this. This is Forza
But it's
Motorsport.
important. Yeah.
This is the first Motorsport for our branded game to be full release on PC, which is good. Now, McDad, this next point, the team's expecting the install to be
Oh, fuck this.
100 gigabytes.
Ooh,
How are you going to go downloading that day one?
nope.
I'll go fine. I've got NBN.
You got NBN.
Oh, yeah, so do I. That's still gonna fucking take a while. 100 gig.
How
boy.
how
Yeah,
other people in your
that's
area going to go downloading 100 gig if they purchase this digitally?
This
Which
this 100 gig thing is essentially points it to Australia and just go fuck you.
no,
Yeah.
but they're,
90% of Australia.
they're still selling consoles on the market with 500 gigabyte hard drives, aren't they?
Mm.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
base models.
Yeah.
1/5 is gone.
Are they saying PC, it's 100 gig, or
Yes.
Nah,
Yes.
Console.
PC and console.
Will both be
both,
100 gig.
Yep.
100 gig.
it's just
That's why I'm trying to think how the
ridiculous.
fuck they're gonna fit that on one disc.
They're not. It will
Nope.
be.
It'll be the same thing that they've been doing with Xbox One games for a while,
Mhm.
which is you plug in the disc,
So
you do its
it's-
install
it's-
off the disc, and then there'll be a patch to enable it.
I'm pretty sure
yes,
Forza
it's
Horizon.
100 gig plus day one patch.
No,
Yep.
well, yeah, it will be that as well. But Forza Horizon,
be a
I'm
day one patch.
sure was you install and then 26 gig later of download, you got to play the game because
Yeah.
it's just not all on disc. Halo Master Chief Collection was the same thing. We
Ah.
can't fit the last 40 gig on, so we're just going to make you download it or whatever it was. So,
That's for people that don't have internet.
yeah, you just
Yeah,
can't fit
no,
100
that's-
gigabytes on a
that was
disc.
the big. Yeah, no, that was the big thing when both games came out, was that either you had the internet to download it, you didn't have the internet to download it at a fast rate, or you didn't have the internet to get it at all, and you
Mhm.
were fucked over. That is why there is a very small and barely noticeable thing on the back of the case, if you have a look, that says internet required.
Not suggested, required. Now we touched on this
Required.
before. VR is not supported for Forza as yet. Probably
Fucking shit together, Microsoft.
I'd say there'd be more of that
Especially
down the track.
it's on PC. Especially
Yeah.
since it's coming to
Yeah.
PC. There are like 5 different
Hmm.
headsets on PC that do standard left and right head tracking that would work perfectly fucking fine for a racing sim.
Yeah.
That's
That
what
are
I'm thinking.
cheap
As
and-
of yet. As of yet. Keep that in
Yeah,
mind.
no,
on there.
as of yet, because the team doesn't have their own fucking headset to market and go, here, buy this instead.
Yeah.
As soon as they do, I guarantee you Forza 7 will be on the first list of fucking games that has the VR support.
Okay, so we're going to go on to this last point before we move on from Forza because we are way over. For the first time in a long time, we're going to go over this hour. Actually, we went over an hour last week, but that's okay. The price tag on this thing. Do you want to talk us through this? How much is it going to cost us to play this game?
$140 for the Ultimate Edition, which granted is a pretty standard price. $120 for the Deluxe Edition. Oh boy. And $99.95 for the Standard Edition of the game.
The point I want to make
Oh,
is,
boy.
if you want to buy Forza Horizon 6 right now, the 2-year-old game in
Still
the
$100.
franchise, it's still $99.95 on the Microsoft Store.
So is Horizon.
Horizon 3 is $99.95.
And even worse, if you are a PC player, you don't even get to buy a physical edition of the fucking game. You don't even get the chance to actually no. Technically, you could trade in and get Microsoft Store credit. Is whatever. I'm going off on a tangent here. You don't even get sales on these fucking games half the time.
It's not like it's a Steam game where it will be on
No.
sale at some stage. This
No,
is
even just how rarely the Microsoft Store does any fucking sales, let alone sales on games that are available on PC.
Yeah.
We and Wilco, we had this a few months back when I wanted to get Forza Horizon and you said it was on sale, and it was only fucking on sale on the Xbox Live Store with gold, not the Microsoft Store.
No,
So I still had to pay $100 if I wanted it
Still worth
because
it.
it wasn't on sale on the Microsoft Store.
Forza Horizon
worth it.
3 is worth every cent. You had to pay $200 just about to get that full game, and you still
Yep.
do. And if you want to play Hot Wheels, you're paying just about that price, plus the rest of it. So it's worth every cent for that game. This
Yeah.
game, I'm just not convinced. Like, you do get bits and pieces with a car pack. You're going to get extra cars. Why you need extra cars when there's already 700 cars in this game is beyond me, and why they charge for that.
You're paying.
Well, the key difference, like between the deluxe and the ultimate difference, it's like 46 cars, like 6 car packs. You're paying $20 for 6 car
You're
packs.
paying $20 for an extra 5% of the cars in the game.
And you're only
Yeah.
getting cars, you're not getting tracks.
No, that's exactly right. That's like, why the
Just
fuck?
cars. Oh, yeah, cool. So Microsoft's pricing is incorrect and wrong, and they need to fix that on their end or start doing discounts. The fact that Forza Horizon...
This is what's gonna kill their whole like push to digital play anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Is they keep charging this fucking much for their digital games.
It's ridiculous.
But people are still going to pay it. That's the thing.
The only...
was-
I
I'm gonna
I
buy
would
it.
argue that it's had very little sales on PC compared to their console.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like,
I-
and if
like
they
I said-
keep doing this, it's gonna kill them.
I streamed Hot Wheels. I could have sold 7 or 8 copies those 2-3 nights I was doing it. Maybe 10 copies of the game for people who just rocked in and said, "This looks amazing. I want to play this," and I said, well, you need to
Went,
pay
"Oh, what? It's $100 for the
$150 to get this piece of content. And they went, no. The fact that Forza 6 is still $99.95 to this date on Microsoft Store is a joke. McDad agrees with me, so that's the main thing. So,
Yeah. Well, it's basically $1 a gig,
it is
Yeah.
$1 a gig.
a bit extra.
That's the only
More
thing.
if you're going up in content.
Um,
I can
It's not
guarantee
bad.
you that 6
It's not bad.
packs are not 50 gigs.
no. No, but anyway, look, that's our rant about pricing. Microsoft, get your shit together. Project Cars, we need to get onto this before we go
Alright,
over
let's go.
time. So, look, there is over 180 licensed cars from the most iconic brands. The latest track
That
roster,
doesn't mean much.
yeah, the largest track roster for any console racing game, including ice and dirt tracks.
That's the big thing. People love
Yeah.
ice and dirt tracks.
Mm.
And Forza.
I-
I know Forza does have a couple dirt tracks.
I
But
actually
Forza-
said that I think Forza's going to put a third pillar out eventually, and it will be a rally version of Forza because they need to, and then they can go every 3 years.
Well,
With
they can
Horizon,
just-
they do have the expansion of the snow and dirt.
They did. That's why I
This is
thought.
what
areas.
this is what these racing games need to sort of overtake these more specialized ones like dirt that are popping up.
Mhm.
Is to add in rally game mode, like
Yeah.
add these game modes in,
But Microsoft
and
would,
it'll be
would
great.
sell you it again, so you can.
Oh
go,
yeah, no, Microsoft would.
But
Yeah,
no, that's what I honestly think they're heading to, and I thought that Forza Horizon 3, like Chill said, was an actual test to see we've got the physics, we can do rally, we can do ice, we can do
Well-
snow, and
The problem with your sort of train of thought there is Horizon and Motorsport are done by two different teams.
yeah, but they do
Yeah.
share a lot of actual content. A lot of the
Not as
engines.
much as you would think.
No, there's been interviews and they do work a lot. Like they do share a lot of assets and stuff. Not assets, but they do share a lot of stuff. To be honest, and the engine is the same. So one
So
test,
the engine,
Yeah.
but the rest of it not quite.
yeah.
There's a lot that they don't share.
But anyway, so it's only a 50 gig download for Project Cars 2. So enjoy that.
Which is surprising.
Yeah,
Given
how
its
do,
next
how
point.
do you how do you get a 50 gig difference between
Especially
these two
with
games?
this next point where it says true 12K support. That is.
Well, let's
And
start
we
with
know.
this. No one in this fucking planet Earth can run it at 12K.
No, but it's there. But it's only still
Yeah.
50 gig. And I just don't understand that.
I think that's going to stem from the fact that it's going to have a lot less tracks and a lot less cars than everything else on this list.
Well, they have more cars than Gran Turismo.
Yes, they do.
True.
They do. They have like 30 more cars, which I was shocked about as well.
I
So,
think they've
and now
got.
they've got dirt tracks and ice tracks.
Yeah, I think it says the largest
Yeah,
track
just
roster of
'cause
any
they've
console.
got-
Okay.
I don't know if I would go with that. We'll see.
Anyway, so it has got VR support. This is the part that
Yes.
I've got a story
Finally.
I'm going to tell about you in a sec. Renee Rast has joined Slightly. Actually, physically, like he's employed by Slightly Mad Studios now. Now he is a 29-year-old who's a karting champion. He's a touring car champion, Audi factory driver. He drives those big friggin' things in the Le Mans. He's actually racing the 24-hour Le Mans this year, but he is a consultant working with Slightly Mad Studios to work on their physics to make sure it's the most realistic physics that they can get. They've actually got a racing champion in there doing that. Now, I've listened to another podcast. If you want to listen to it, you can. It's one of the IGN Aussie blokes, the pubcast. They've got a guy on there who's a pretty mad racing fan and does all the racing content for IGN worldwide. They flew him over to Iceland or somewhere over there in the western of the Europes where it's icy, and they said, here's some high-end cars, and we're going to let you race on the ice, and we're going to prove to you that these cars are built to stay on a track. They're not built to crash off and be terrible to drive and be hard to drive. They're actually built to be really easy to drive. So they went around and he's fanging around this thing, passing all these other journos who was too scared to put the foot down. And they came back and they said, yeah, look, these cars are built to be easy to drive. Like they're just not built to be hard, which every racing sim has always been. They're too hard. So the physics that they're talking about for this, they're actually making it so it's actually going to be fairly easy to drive, but more realistic, which is like the downforce and all that kind of stuff. Is all these cars are built to stick to the road, and that's what they're bringing to Project Cars 2, rather than trying where the car's always trying to fight against you. They're actually like it's going to be normal, which is what I'm excited about. So, I thought that was the big difference between what they're doing compared to what everyone else is doing. Does that excite you, Whip? I can see your face. You're excited.
I am excited about this though. It is significantly cheaper than every other fucking game on this list. So I might pick it up and probably use it twice.
Okay, so
but $50 USD for the standard edition, pretty fine.
Now that's on sale right now to launch. It's on Steam. It's a pre-launch discount, 17% off, which is a bargain.
Worked out like 75 AUD, so which isn't too bad.
Yeah, and it's $80 USD for the deluxe edition. And as always, EB has the game listed for nearly $100. Get on your EB, you're always reliable.
And they've got a $230 friggin' collector's edition, so yeah, cool.
Yeah, but I've seen that collector's edition.
It's
It is
cool.
fucking big with some properly licensed stuff. It is like a collector's edition. Not one of these cheap ones. It's like, here's a book, here's a statue, here's a model car.
Book.
Here's some like fuck that. Here is some like proper legitimate things.
This is a legitimate book about actual how cars work and stuff.
It's
proper racing.
Put it down,
It's definitely a book.
It is definitely a book. And then there's a picture one.
It's a book that's probably been uploaded online as a PDF by now.
Probably. But it's a picture book. Look, pictures.
Oh look, concept art. Put the fuck down, Wilco.
That's not a very good audio podcast, though, is it? So look, we've been over the key features of these games. We've talked to death about these games. We've got 2 minutes to wrap this up. No, we don't. We're going to go over. Jill, I want to hear your overall thoughts on the 3 games and where you sit hype-wise for them.
My overall, my thoughts have basically changed during this podcast.
Yes,
I did have Project Cars down the bottom. I had it down the bottom. It has gone up past Forza now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not hard. It's just
Gran Turismo still at heart because that's what I've done as a kid. That's what I've played. I've had like my cousin. He got me into it. Played the crap out of it with him. So it's still going to be my number 1. But Project Cars 2 has overtaken Forza to number 2.
Okay.
Just mainly because of the price, the big price difference.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the realistics and the physics behind it. The physics behind it is just going to make.
Or
so
the words about the physics behind it. Not, you haven't had a chance to try it just yet.
He will.
Good point. But I will play the crap out of it.
Best
and the
part
12K
is
makes me want to go get an OLED TV.
Oh yeah. Best part is you can
for
buy it
the
on Steam.
single frame of 12K you'll render.
He can
Yeah,
buy.
I'll just go buy like 4 1080 Ti's, man.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So for the 3 frames you'll render, it'll look really nice on your 4K TV.
I want the job he's got. Fuck, I need that one, Dosh. McDad, where's your thoughts and heart lie with these 3 games?
I'm sort of in between Gran Turismo and Project Cars.
Yeah.
Just the rally side of things, I'm pretty interested in with Project Cars.
Yep.
Coming from what I've seen already from the first one, I think I'm leaning towards Project Cars.
As the number 1 that people should be looking at. Nice.
Yep.
I think I've convinced some people tonight. Whip, I haven't convinced you. I never convince you. You don't listen to me.
No.
Where do you sit on the 3 titles?
I'm actually a hard sell for all 3 at the moment.
Yeah.
I do love Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo is close to my heart. But I don't have a steering wheel that works with PS4. And I don't have the money to get one that does.
It's a huge
And
investment.
that makes it a lot hard. Yeah, that makes it a lot harder of a sell for me because I'll play it, but I won't play any of these games enough to justify getting a new rig for each console. Like I might grab Forza or Project Cars because they should run with the rig that I've got on my PC. But Microsoft's pricing can suck a dick. And that really stops me from wanting to buy the game just because of how much I'll have to pay to get it.
Yeah.
Even if $100 is fairly standard new game pricing, I still don't want to do it.
No.
Still a fucking rip-off.
And I don't want to be suckered into paying another $40 to get the game a week early.
Yeah, I was happy to do it with Horizon because it was the game I was pumped for last year. Forza Horizon 3. It was my game of the year. I still say it, and I was saying that from the start. So I was happy to pay a little bit extra to get all the stuff, and then also get to play it a week early. But I've never been a motorsport fan as far as Forza goes, so it's definitely. I was going into today. I was thinking about this morning, and I'm like, I've already got Project Cars 2. I backed it a long time ago, so it's done. I'll be playing it. I don't have to buy it. I was going to get Forza 7 on the side and then leave Gran Turismo for the first time ever, not get a Gran Turismo game. And then as I thought about it today, I went, you idiot, I'm probably going to get Gran Turismo on the side as well and play Project Cars 2 on the PC and then be able to race with McDad on the PS4 when he gets it finally, when I convince him.
Look,
So
if they come out and say that we've worked on it, we've got backwards support for some of the PS3 steering wheels for sport, I'll grab it because I'll pick up a last gen PS3 wheel that's a lot better than my one now for like $200 less, and I'll be a lot happy with the game.
Yeah. So I thought they were too much leaning into the multiplayer side of it. Like that's all we've seen is the beta and all that kind of stuff. But the videos I saw that have come out in the last week about the single player side of it, where it is going right back into that license system that they had in 3 and 4 that were what kept me going all the time, and they've still got that side of it. I'm more convinced to be leaning towards that, and Forza's not going to happen this year for me again. So it seems like it's a toss up between Project Cars 2 and Gran Turismo, and probably, unless you're a fanboy of Microsoft, then probably Forza Horizon will get skipped, but it'll sell heaps, so it always does, no matter what. So yeah, let's just wrap up the show. I think we've covered it all. Whip, you agree?
Yeah.
I don't think we've got anything else to add. Let's start with McDad.
I've always got something to add, but
don't do it.
It's normally against Microsoft too.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on that argument. We're here for another 3 hours. Let's start.
You can do that once I've wrapped it up, mate. Just let me finish this off. McDad, where can people find you and what are you up to at the moment? What are you playing?
I've just been playing Diablo 3 mostly, and middle of packing up a house to move.
Oh, you lucky man! Lucky man.
Enjoy that.
Yeah, and you can find me at McDad75 on
the Twitters, and you can find him in our Discord in Ultra Super Mega as well, and he's always active there. Now, Stephen, chill. Where can people find you? What are you up to, and what are you excited about at the moment?
Albion, man. I've been playing the crap out of Albion online. Don't shake your head at me, Whip. I've seen that little egg. It's great, man. It's like a community-based MMO. So there's no vendors or anything like that. Everything's off the house. Great.
Oh, wow.
It's good fun to gank other people too. Which I've kind of already been kicked out of the 2 starter zones.
No.
That's me out.
Other than that, man, everyone can find me at Alexan, Twitter, and Twitch. Yeah, I'm always in the Discord group as well, always active. So if anyone's got any questions for me or anything like that, give us a hoot.
And you're been streaming pretty actively at the moment?
No.
That's a shame because he is on Twitch and do follow him.
To.
By the way, I've hit 100 now, and I've hit 100, so you need to hurry up and get there as well.
I lost a follower, man. I'm down to 96.
Oh no, terrible. Whip,
Yeah.
where can people find you? What are you up to, and what are you excited about at the moment?
As always, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch and in the Discord at Flash191. As for what I've been up to, I have spent the weekend at Generosity watching people scarf down cupcakes and be hit in the face with various objects.
How much did they raise in the end?
About 13,800 USD, which was about 17,000 AUD,
Okay.
which was actually quite close to the $20,000 goal, which is great. The highlight of the weekend, though, was I got to shoot Pez in the face with a Nerf gun repeatedly, so that's fantastic.
A win. That is a win for anyone.
That was a win. It was fantastic. As for what I'm hyped for in the next week or two, not that much actually. I've got to hunker down and get some schoolwork done. Possibly not stream because of said schoolwork. So we'll see where I go. See what happens. Yeah, fuck you.
So if no one's got anything else to add, I shall wrap this bad boy up. I've got my Super Cheap Auto shirt from 2014, and I'm probably going to try and go down there next year, I reckon. We'll see what happens. I'll
Please
get
not
some
wearing
money.
that shirt. Retire that shirt. It's
No,
old
it's a
now.
beautiful shirt.
I thought,
Yeah, he's going to get one for
I
next
thought
year.
Bathurst was north.
Oh, there we go. So, I am Wilco's Chill Zone. You can find me on all the Wilco's Chill Zone places, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Trying to be more active on Twitter because yes, you know the story. I tell it every week. I've now hit 100. Thank you, Nikki, for being my 100th follower. That is a great thing to see tonight. So from here on, be mostly podcasts, but I'll still try and do a few games. Trying to play through Wildlands at the moment, Whip. So single player
When are we doing
playthrough.
that next?
Well, no,
Single player.
I'm doing single player. Like I've got 2 characters, so I beat one of the 4 bosses on the weekend. So gonna try to work my way
Multiplayer
through
or
that.
nothing. Come on,
Co-op, you mean?
get with the team.
No,
Get
we'll
with
see.
the team. Come on.
So that's what I'm looking forward to at the moment is finishing that, to be honest, and then trying to get a few other games out of the way before August the 28th hits, and there's about 3 games that I want to play coming out within a couple of days of each other, including
What is
the
in August?
Destiny 2 beta on PC will be
Oh,
out
yeah.
today. So, ultrasupermega.com.au is where we host this podcast. We also are part of the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. Find them on Facebook. That's where a lot of our hosts are from, just not tonight. It's mainly an Ultra Super Mega one tonight. So follow us. Go on to the web page, find the social tab, go down. You'll see our Discord. Go into that. Come chat with us. We had an absolutely crazy night on Friday night till Saturday morning with Radio Joel being the new hashtag for Ultra Super Mega. We won't go into why, but it was an hilarious night, and if you missed out, you missed out, because that was one of the best nights I've had in a long time. Other than that, look, Super Hype Train is live every night, 9 p.m. every Monday night. Follow us on Twitter, super_hype train. And that is enough. Next week, we don't know what we're doing, but we will have an episode for you, and we are hoping to do Drop Mix very soon, hopefully getting some word from Harmonix on whether they can help us out with that and join us for a podcast, either special episode or fully fledged episode. But I am Wilco. This is Super Hype Train. Stay hyped, everyone. We'll catch you soon. Bye.
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 Hey.
Bye.
Ugh.